Hello, hope you're doing well, having a great day. So when generative AI first came to my attention a couple of years ago, probably like most other people, it was via OpenAI and some of the things that they were doing with their UI to be able to allow you to consume it. I began to sort of think, okay, where is this going to go? And pretty much went away and read a lot of papers. And it was obvious to me that things like agents, orchestration, reflection, chain of thought, a lot of these weren't in the mainstream at the time, were going to become big things. And then over time, I suspected that things like IDE extensions would become available, which they did. And ultimately, this would lead to things like CLIs to be able to do things that are potentially more powerful and more generalized extensibility, either via the OS or by third-party concepts. So at the end of 2024, Anthropic sort of introduced the Model Context Protocol, MCP. I thought, it's arrived. So ahead of time, I've been going away looking at things that you would be doing with AI CLIs ahead of time, because I thought I need to prepare for this. So it was pretty obvious to me this was coming. And of course, now we do have MCP. So this is natively supported by the Anthropic ecosystem, so things like Claude Desktop and things like Claude Code. So once you've got something that is available to AI, basically if you create an MCP server, you can stick it behind that and then expose it to the AI. So what I've done here is I've taken some existing capabilities I've got to be able to do things with what I kind of loosely term limbs, to be able to allow generative AI to do things. So I've showed you a demonstration where we've done things where we've allowed Claude to be able to basically connect to databases, and the code itself will provide Claude with all the information about the schema that's related to it. So turnkey, without Claude having to do anything or the user having to do anything, is available for Claude to then be able to basically construct queries. We've then given a limb for Claude to be able to do that, so it can run the queries and it will deal with sort of interpreting the results. So I've shown you that already. So one of the other things that I started experimenting with was using a cloud bus. Cloud bus was quite useful because it allowed initially agents to talk to each other over the bus. So you could have separate agents running in separate processes, essentially, potentially on separate compute, that could dialogue with each other over a cloud bus, so there'd be no physical connectivity that would need wiring up. So part of that was the entities sort of auto-registering with the bus so that they're available to be able to do things. Going forwards past that, one of the things that I started using was a capability to horizontally scale things across potentially the cloud or local compute. So a capability for AI potentially to be able to talk to remote compute, whether that be real machines, virtual machines, or containers, to be able to do things. So that I've had available for quite some time, and you've seen some things that I've done in the past on LinkedIn to demonstrate what you could do with that ahead of time. Of actually, this is going to be more powerful when there's an easy extensibility to be able to do that. So either that was going to come via the operating system, or it's going to be coming by some other standard. So we've now got MCP, which is kind of the, for want of a better analogy, the RESTful API of AI. So now we've got MCP, and obviously Anthropic came up with it. It's well supported in their ecosystem, so it's well supported on Claude Desktop, it's well supported on Claude Code. So what I thought I'd do is I'd very quickly just take something that already existed, throw it behind an MCP server, just give you some ideas of the kind of innovative things that you can do with MCP in terms of linking AI to third-party systems. So that's what we're going to do today. So what have we got? So let me go away and get something up on the screen, and then we'll do something. So I've got an Ubuntu virtual machine here. So I've got a terminal open, it's not doing anything. So it's sitting there. This machine has on it the capability to register its intent to the cloud bus, that it's available for something to do something. In our case, it's going to be generative AI. So that is now registered with the cloud bus. So I've gone away and created an MCP server that can basically talk to the cloud bus to be able to allow generative AI to do things. So we've got Claude open as well. So let's go to Claude. So Claude is sitting there ready to do something. So what I've done is I've created an MCP server that allows Claude to be able to see what remote compute is available. I call them drones, to be able to do things. So first of all, which drones are available? That allows me or Claude to then be able to do things to go away and execute stuff. So what we've also got here is the capability for Claude to be able to talk to that remote compute, and that remote compute to be able to carry out actions in response to Claude's control under human use. Now the great thing about MCP, because it's available in Claude Desktop, MCP is supported by Claude Code, so we can also use these exact same tools in Claude Code to be able to do things. And that's one of the things I'm going to be moving towards, I think, to demonstrate some things that you can do with Claude Code, some innovative things that you can do, particularly with some of the latest features like hooks. There's a whole host of things that you can do that you may not have even thought about yet, but they're definitely becoming. And this is really just to give you a little idea of where we're going with these things. So first of all, let's see if we can see the MCP server. So let's ask Claude to give us a list of MCP tools. So we'll do that. So we've got these database tools. I've used those in a previous demonstration, so those already exist. So you can see here we've got the database tools. We've also got some new tools, some remote system tools. So one of which is to get drones, which is list available, in this case Linux drone host names. Doesn't have to be Linux host names at the moment. It's set up to do Linux hosts, and then also the capability then to talk to these hosts directly. So it won't actually be doing stuff with the host, it will be communicating with the host, and there's a service on the host that will then be carrying out things in response to commands from Claude to be able to do things. So first of all, let's see if we can see our drone. So let's ask it to do that. So go and check the list of available drones. So it's going away, it's making a call to the MCP server tool, and it can see that there's one available drone. So if you look at the console window, you can see the drone name corresponds to the terminal that we've got open at the moment. It's already figured out it's a Linux virtual machine, and it now knows it's also got a capability to do things on the drone. So there's nothing really in terms of me telling it what to do here. By the description of what the capability is, Claude is more than clever enough to be able to figure out what that means it can do with it, and then it will make a decision about when to fire up a tool to be able to do things. So we've already got a list of drones, so let's go away and see if we can do something on the remote compute. So let's go and do that now. So let's go and ask it to find the free disk space on the Linux machine. So let's do that. So it's the first time I've run this tool in this session, so I'll allow it to run always. And it's gone away. We've not seen anything on the machine because the actual service is running in the background. But just to confirm that has run on the machine, let's have a look at the command it decided to run. So we can also run that natively, so let's do that. I should have just typed it really. So you can see that it corresponds to the same kind of output that is on the actual machine itself. So that's basically Claude doing things on that machine. So we can see that we've actually done some functional work on that machine via a cloud bus that's gone away and has come back to Claude. So Claude is actually touching that virtual machine, for want of a better phrase, to be able to do things. So now let's go and try and do some other things on there. So let's go and ask it to report the kernel version. So it's going away. It's running a Linux command there to return the kernel version, and we can see it's reported the kernel version. So we can do other things. So let's go away and see what are the top 5 processes by memory. So we'll go away and get it to do that. It's going away, creating a command to run on the machine, and then it's gone away and returned the top 5 processes. One of which is the actual console commander that is behind the scenes, allowing it to be able to do things. So you can see there that what we've actually done is we've actually created a limb that me talking to Claude, it inferring what I need to do from the context of what I'm saying, it knowing what tools it has available, is clever enough to figure out when I'm talking about something that requires the use of a tool, it can go away and execute that tool to be able to do things. So of course there's a whole range of things it can do here. So it can actually go away potentially and run things in a sandbox, which you quite often may want to do. So things like a web fetch tool you might want to run in the sandbox because you don't want that web fetch happening on your local machine. So it can now do that. You might want it to go away and create code, and you might want that code to be created on a virtual machine in a sandbox to be able to allow it to do one thing or many things at the same time. So this is basically just to give you a little bit of an idea of the kind of things that you can do in Model Context Protocol if you're a little bit innovative about how you think about how you're going to be consuming it. So again, just a demonstration, the kind of things that you could do with MCP, just to give you a few ideas as we move forward into sort of more rapidly consuming generative AI generally. So we're reaching the point now with MCP. This has opened up a whole new set of potential for using it, and because it's MCP, it's not only available in the desktop, it's also available via Claude Code. So we can allow Claude Code to be able to do things, and that's something that obviously we might want to be able to do for a whole raft of reasons, and I'm not going to discuss those today, but at some point I'll show you things that you can do using that technology to be able to do things. So that's all I was really going to show you today. Hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy yourself. Take care. Bye bye for now. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.